Donita with FCA Motocross, and I'm here with Nathan Ramsey, one of our most requested instructors at FCA camp. Nathan, tell us what's going on this year.
Not a whole lot. I kind of hung up the boots for myself, at least for the, the serious stuff. I still kind of putt around once in a while, but so I've been doing like some coaching and training with some guys out there in California, and just kind of working that a little bit. It seems like the next step for, I guess, a guy who retires, and I really enjoy it. The sport's been good to me, and I feel like the little bit that I learned throughout the 16 years that I did it, if I could pass something along, then that'd be great. And I just kind of get out there with them each day. I got a few guys in a core group that I do every week, and then I do some some private stuff when people want to do it just on in general. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's kind of like feel like you're out there with some of the guys you've been working with a lot, and like I said, it's the next best thing. I enjoy it, and I'll use it for a stepping stone. Who knows where I'll land, but for right now, I feel good doing it, and still gives me a lot of time with the family, which is important. And yeah, everything's good.
Yeah. So you're here this weekend. Who are you here with? What's going on?
Yeah, one of my guys that I train and coach and stuff is Blake Bagot. He turned pro last year after Loretta's. He won a title at Loretta's. Turned pro, did the last 3 nationals, and ended up getting like a 4th at Steel City in the second moto. And he's the real deal. He's got all the right tools, and I'm just trying to help him kind of skip some of the growing pains if I can. And everybody's got to pay their dues, but he's one of those guys that's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders because he is good, and he's won titles coming up. And I'm just trying to help him take the right roads, and do the right things and make the right choices, and hopefully he'll have a really long lasting career, instead of kind of come in and flash and then get out, so that's the idea, is just to kind of build an independent champion that knows how to take care of himself, and at the same time knows how to take instruction and all that good stuff.
So what good advice do you pass along to him? Traveling every weekend, being with this group every weekend, and all that stuff. Yeah,
it just kind of comes at certain times, and throughout the week we train, and I just try to keep him motivated and try to I set his lap program and keep him from kind of these young guys that are so into it and eager. They want to get out there and pound themselves into the ground, and then they get to the race and they can't quite can't perform and they can't figure out why they're so flat on the weekend. So use my experience to kind of create a program that puts him at his best on the weekends, and then obviously with the traveling and just tons of things that you can do and get into, and try to he's still got a real strong family atmosphere around him, and he hasn't quite got to that point where he's like completely on his own, and so just kind of try to keep his nose clean as much as I can, and try to I guess preach without words, and try to set a good example, and kind of tell him some of the stuff that I did wrong that he could hopefully stay away from,
Yeah. So what else back home when you're kind of riding and training, but what else have you been doing?
My daughter is a competitive dancer. She's going to dance competitions, so all week long it's taking her to dance and picking her up. And then my son's, he's kind of like with the seasonal sports. Right now we're just getting started in baseball again, and it just I help out as like an assistant coach with that, and that stuff to me is like priceless. It's like so much fun. I hate to miss anything like that, and so I really I'm pretty heavy into that stuff all week long. And then when these races that I agree to come to, it's, even though I love to be here and I love to be a part of it with the guys that I train, I don't want to miss out on some stuff like that at home. So
and how old are your kids?
My son is 7. He turned 7 in December. My daughter is 9. She'll be 10 in August. So yeah, 7 and 9. It's crazy. I mean, somewhere along the way I grew up. I guess I'm grown up. But I just love it. I mean, the baseball, it's so funny to watch these little kids. You tell them a few things and you're like, they're not even listening. And I don't know how they're going to get this. This is way too advanced. The next thing you know, like within a practice or two, they're doing exactly what you say. It's crazy. So same thing goes for them. I try to, with my coaching and teaching and whatever, kind of not be too hard on them, but at the same time keep a strict little thing going, and so they get the point, and it sinks in. Things that you're willing to work hard for, they seem to taste a little sweeter when you get what you want.
So FCA camp, will we ever see you there again?
You know, I sure hope so. I had a lot of fun there always, and you know, I brought my kids to the last one that I went to, and it's really a great atmosphere, and I love to be there. It helps me grow as a Christian, kind of puts me back in, you know, gets me back in line, which we all need that. And you know, it's funny though. It's a lot tougher now that I'm not racing, and I don't. You know, it's like when you're racing, I guess without knowing, you take it for granted that no matter what, you can make your decision. You can go wherever you want. The pace checks keep coming in, and you know, you set your own everything. And even though I'm still my own boss, it's different, you know, because now if I leave, I'm kind of leaving these guys hanging. So yeah. I could leave and still do my job by myself, but now I got other guys that depend on me. So, you know, it's a tough situation, but I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out and pull it off at some point. And you know, you keep calling hounding me, or not hounding, because you don't do that at all, but you know, stay on me, and we'll try to work it out. I mean, I would definitely love to do it, and you know, it's kind of what I do now is coach and teach guys now, so maybe I can be a little better than I was before, even at that.
So what was we'll end with this. What was one of your favorite things from camp?
You know what, I mean, by far, like all the motorcycle stuff is cool, and teaching and learning, watching these little kids, you know, learn, girls and boys. But my daughter got saved at camp the last time that we were there, which was 2 years ago, I believe. And I don't know, man, it's just one of those things that I'll never forget. And believe me, I forget a lot of things. You know, so it was a great thing, you know, just send chills up my spine. And you know, she came home, and actually we ended up going to my parents' house in Tennessee from there, and she got baptized at the church there too. So, you know, took it even to that next step, and you know, it's pretty sweet to see your little girl up there kind of just giving her heart to God, you know. So that would definitely be by far the biggest thing for me there.
Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.